Good afternoon, everyone. Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio. Hope everyone's having a nice Tuesday afternoon. The Huskers just wrapped up practice number 8 of fall camp. Again, game day just right around the corner. August 31st is that first kick. And Sports Director Kevin Sjuts alongside Sports Reporter Chase Matteson. We're down in Memorial Stadium. Let's bring them in right now. And guys, what did we have? What was fall practice number 8? What did that look like for you guys today?
Well, it looked kind of like the other practices, right, Chase?
Yeah, a full team practice, not the split standard that Rhule had tried out a few times last week, but just a lot of action and just also not too hot this morning.
Yeah, pretty quick paced. Players going from station to station. You see individual work. You see the guys coming together. Of course, this was just our second opportunity to watch a portion of practice, and we're thankful for the coaching staff to allow the cameras to come in and get a small glimpse, see who's at practice. I think one of the big headlines from today is that Marcus Washington was not practicing. He has suffered an injury, second one, just got out of a hand cast, and now he has a leg injury. He's not out for the season. Expected back at some point soon. And then no Xavier Betts, no Malachi Coleman today, but they are also expected back soon. So those are some injury updates from what was seen at practice today. And then 2 players will not be with the Huskers this season, not be able to play. That's Brody Tagaloa and Maverick Noonan, who is out with an injury. He just had surgery this week.
Yeah, Coach Rhule described Noonan's injury as not like an ACL, something more oblique. And then obviously Tagaloa, we reported last week, the car accident, had to get work done. And thoughts were with him, and just it's tough to go out for the whole season.
Yeah, and Matt Rhule says that they have a countdown. It's not like a Christmas chain, the countdown to Christmas, but they do know it is 15 days or 15 practices until Nebraska kicks off the 2023 campaign at Minnesota on August 31st. So knowing that the number keeps decreasing, Chase, it seems like the guys are starting to feel like it's, even though they're in camp, opening day isn't too terribly far away.
Yeah, I think there's a added level of intensity and also just significance or moving with urgency, right? And Rhule said, he pointed to the calendar to his guys, and yeah, maybe it's not a big countdown and we're not just, a running clock, but it's definitely in the back of people's minds. And, while they might say it's taking one game at a time, a lot of thoughts are on Minnesota.
Absolutely, and Nebraska continues to live in the dorms. They're at Selleck Hall, and that continues to be a theme during the interviews that we're conducting here at Memorial Stadium following these practices. Yes, it's a storyline, but the players are starting to put a little water on that storyline because they spend more time here at the stadium, whether it's lifting, practice, nutrition, film, all that stuff. They're not actually at the dorms too terribly long. As Phelan Sanford even joked, he goes back just to hang out for a short bit and then he's in bed.
Yeah, and the same thing that Ed Foley said yesterday was once he enters the dorm, he wants to have 6 minutes till he hits the pillow. So it really is just it's building a brotherhood, but also it's really just where they're staying. They're spending a lot of time getting ready for this season.
So while those are the people, Bill, that aren't talking much about the dorms, or they're at least saying that, let's paint the clear picture here. They're not, playing cards in the hallways all day long. Bryce Benhart may disagree with our sentiment here because he's still struggling with the size of the dorm bed. Benhart, one of the largest guys on the team, he says he wished he brought his air mattress.
Yeah, well, when you're 6'10", and you're sleeping in those, I very vividly remember the very small mattresses in the UNL dorm. So again, it wasn't a problem for me, definitely a problem for some of those bigger guys. Kevin, we heard again today a lot of praise from Matt Rhule of Chubba Purdy. We presume a backup quarterback, but again, sounds like he really challenged him in the spring, and he's really responded in a big way.
Absolutely. Nebraska knows the value of the quarterback in this offense under Marcus Satterfield. Jeff Sims, of course, is having a really good fall camp. And it was interesting, Chase. Matt Rhule mentioned a couple guys that are really at the top of the team in terms of setting the standard of performance on the field. The first name he said was Isaac Gifford. That's no surprise. He's been the hottest name of all the players during fall camp. He mentioned Jeff Sims, Ty Robinson, and then he sneaks in Chubba Purdy shortly after that, saying that Chubba, as a backup quarterback and a guy that probably could have explored different options knowing that Jeff Sims was coming in, he really praised him for staying loyal to this staff and then also just kind of accepting his role. I think Matt Rhule and his staff identify Purdy as a culture guy. He's just such a likable personality, and he's a guy that brings it every single day.
Yeah, well, and he comes from a football family, and he talked about from the spring to now that he's kind of slowed down the game. His movements are better. He's seeing the field. But then also, as you just mentioned, guys follow Purdy, and he's an unsung leader on the field. And he talked about those key guys that are raising the temperatures. A reporter asked, how does the energy keep up through week 2? And there's a few guys that are raising the temperature of this team, and he's one of them.
Yeah, Bill, we'll let you fire off any other questions that you have for us about practice. But first, I do want to say Matt Rhule continues to preach that what he wants this team to do this fall is to be able to run the football and stop the run. So anybody that follows Big Ten football closely, that seems to be a pretty good recipe for wins in this league.
And protect the quarterback and affect the other team's quarterback was the other half of that Rhule quote. Sounds like we're going to switch up things a little bit for practice-wise heading over the next couple days. No more early morning practices, but we're going to switch. We're going to go under the lights, it sounds like, for the next couple nights?
Yeah, it's going to be, I believe, some of the practices will be at night, and even during the regular season, he's going to try to do one night practice. And Rhule talked about that gives the players about 8 more hours of recovery time to not tweak things. But also, he's taking the team to one of the preseason women's soccer matches.
It's going to be tonight. They said the entire team is going to head over to Hibner Stadium to watch the Nebraska soccer team play an exhibition game, and that's no surprise, Chase, because they're all about building that brotherhood. They had this entire summer, and it's still continuing during, even when they're practicing.
Well, and Rhule made a good point that, he had Coach John Cook speak to the team. They're going to go watch the women's soccer team. But he said he wants to be surrounded by other winners, and, bringing someone like John Cook in to speak to the team, that's the easiest layup right there, to be surrounded by winners. And so just these little things that Rhule is doing, I think, is creating a different culture and also a different mentality.
And Bill, to your point, Matt Rhule is keeping this team light on its feet, moving practice around and having different surroundings. They practice some inside, they practice some outside. When they go outdoors, they have grass there, so they're on multiple surfaces. So he said before, you got to make sure you're okay being uncomfortable, and they're continuing to find ways so that the players don't get on autopilot during fall camp. And I don't think this coaching staff would ever do that. They're just too wired up, and I say that in a very positive way. But they want these guys to continue to be stimulated and challenged in a variety of ways, and this is just another example by just changing that practice routine just a little bit.
Yeah, and along those lines, again, one of the very last things Rhule said is, it's been a while since Nebraska started off 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, and, to do something like that, we need to do something different. Obviously the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result. They're definitely not doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, you bet. One last note for you, Bill. Phelan Sanford says he spends 45 minutes of screen time total for an entire day. I am insanely jealous, and I know how Phelan can get 45 minutes. By watching all the interviews and then watching 10-11 News, and he's hit his 45-minute quota, then he's done for the day.
That's how he does it. Absolutely. Well, hey, guys, I appreciate you jumping in and joining us. Again, you can catch all the interviews from today from Kevin, from Chase, and all their coverage on 1011now.com. I also have all those videos up on YouTube as well. So, Kevin, Chase, thanks so much, guys. We'll see you back here when you get back to the station. All right, so that was Kevin Sjuts and Chase Matteson reporting from Memorial Stadium again after Husker Fall Camp Practice number 8. And again, we'll have complete coverage of practice. And again, you can catch all the interviews on 1011now.com. So appreciate everyone for tuning in and for watching. Again, as always, keep it tuned to 1011, both on air and online for all of the latest news, weather, and sports. Hope everyone has a nice Tuesday afternoon.